Good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'll give everyone a second here. How's everyone on this rainy Friday? I know it's a bit humid and gloomy coming in, but are y'all doing okay? I see some head shakes. I know it's still early. It's still early. All right. Well, I'm going to get us started with agenda and announcements today. So we're going to do a primer and welcome, and then we have a guest presenter coming to speak about networking and LinkedIn, and then we'll have a quick break, and then we will have another presentation on cover letters, and then we will do lunch, and then we will spend some time doing cover letter writing, and then we'll have a little break/transition, and then we will wrap up with reflection. So does anyone have any questions about the agenda? No? Awesome. All right, and then quick announcements. So you should have received an invite for the end of summer celebration. Please be sure to fill out that form and RSVP. We highly encourage you guys to come and check it out. We have a lot of fun activities. We have some raffles, free food. You can bring your friends, your family, whoever. You can include it on as long as you include it on the form, how many guests you have. We'll make sure you're covered. So please come and please fill that form out soon so we can get that stuff squared away. And if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to one of your success coaches or the program staff. And then lastly, we have some deliverables coming up. So we have cover letter, resume, and LinkedIn, which we're going to spend some time talking about today. And then you'll be expected to work on those in the coming weeks. And they are due Monday, August 15th. So be sure to start working on those because that's coming up quick. I can't believe it's already August, but here we are. So does anyone have any questions about either of those things, midsummer event or deliverables? Yeah, Allison. That's a good question. Olivia, do we need our computers next week for PD? Okay, so for those of you who didn't hear, the question was, do we need our laptops next week in PD? The answer is tentatively yes, but we will follow up with our confirmed answer in the recap email, so just be on the lookout for that. And if you do, we'll send a reminder as well. But any other questions? No? All right. Well, with that, I will pass it off to Dallas, I believe.
What's up, y'all? Hello. There we go. Thank you. Jeez. Yeah, some of y'all still asleep? I ain't gonna lie, me too. One sec, just getting myself prepared. But okay. So, excuse me. The gist of what we're talking about here is kind of gonna take a beginning look at networking and like how we feel about it, right? So because I think all of you all are asleep, can somebody please read this for me? Where are we? Behind the pole, can't see? Oh, okay. Excellent.
When you hear you should be networking, do you recoil and think, A, I don't like schmoozing? I don't know what that is. B, I have to know someone and I don't. C, I'm not an extrovert. Or D, something else.
Okay. So let's just throw some hands up. Just silly questions, right? Who doesn't like schmoozing? It just kind of means like talking to people, walking around and making small talk, rubbing elbows, whatever you want to call it. Does anybody dislike that? We got a couple. Okay. Who feels that they have to know somebody and they don't? Got a couple. How about not being an extrovert? I think Olivia owns this question, guys. And what about something else? Let's just make up something. I don't know. Your dog is in the hospital and got a dentist appointment, so you can't network, right? So, of everybody who raised their hand over something, what do you guys think this is? Does everybody like PD so far? Yes, no? Okay, we got one. What about the rest of you sleepyheads? Anybody dislike PD? How's it going? Ain't nobody answering my questions. Anyways, this is networking, right? So if this turns out to be decent to you, if this is okay, we're doing some of those things right here. You don't have to know anybody. Schmoozing isn't so bad. Whether you're introverted or extroverted, I would like to think this is a pretty safe space to just kind of get to know some folks, right? Okay, so what I'm gonna do, because you guys don't want to talk to me today, we're gonna go to our next question. I mean, not next question, but next slide. It didn't even move. There we go. So, because you guys don't want to talk to me, we have a guest speaker, and I'm assuming, nope, I have something prepared for it. So talking to us about network, we have a guest speaker, Tina, right? She's worked as a lecturer on philanthropy in the community, networking, and more. She's just come back to U of M from UC Irvine. She's an overall networking and connections powerhouse. And it also mentions that she's a light. So I truly, truly, truly hope you guys do a better job talking to her than you did to me. I'm not over it. I'm going to go cry in the back. And wherever she is sitting, I don't know where, I can't find her. Oh, she's going to be on Zoom. Even better, right? So, yes, let's go ahead and bring her in, figuratively.
Hello, everybody.
There she is.
So I guess I'm going to talk to you, Cheryl, and the LSA room, right? Any chance we can direct like a camera to the group at all, or is that not possible?
Unfortunately, it's not possible.
Oh, okay. Okay, so this is going to be hard. I wish I would have known. I would have driven to Ann Arbor. So, well, hello, everybody. Once again, I'm grateful for the opportunity to be with all of you. I was asked by a former student of mine, Tabitha. So Tabitha took my networking class 8 years ago. And this exercise of her reaching out to me is networking in itself, right? So she built a relationship with me, and then I guess somebody needed a speaker, the program needed a speaker, and she said, oh, hey, I know someone who might be able to help with that. And I'm sure my name came up, and I'm sure it was discussed internally, and then she reached out and said, hey, could you come and talk? So she asked. So today I want to tell you all about networking in 30 minutes, or what I can do in 30 minutes. And hopefully you will have a better understanding of what networking is, how it connects to leadership, how it connects to purpose, and more importantly, how can we begin developing a networking mindset. So with the help of my colleagues there, I want to ask you all, what is networking? So I heard earlier, like when I jumped on, that a little bit of schmoozing is okay. So tell me, raise your hands if there's a microphone. Tell me, what is networking? Anybody?
What was that?
There is a microphone, and we will walk it around to our presenters.
Okay, great.
Who wants to take a stab at it?
Is anybody going to answer?
Yes, we have someone right here.
Awesome, thank you.
Sure. Hello, my name is Carlos. I'm an incoming
Hi,
freshman
Carlos.
at U of M for the business school, so I should hope I know what networking is. So networking is basically when you when you connect with other people and you try and you just get to know people and what they do and what they're good at, and in the hopes that later on you or someone else can help other people or yourself by knowing just who there is to know in the space.
Thank you so much, Carlos. Who else wants to add? So here's a little bit of insight that I'm 36 years old. It took me, I guess, 36 years to figure it out. But the thing about leadership that they don't teach us in school is that leadership is personal. So for those of you who have thoughts right now or have ideas and are afraid to, stand up and share, if you don't stand up and share, then the world is missing out on your ideas. The community that is being built as part of this program is missing out on your ideas. So it's really okay. This is a very safe space. So please share, because if you don't share, then we miss out. Okay, one more person. I know one more person is willing to follow in Carlos's good example.
Hello, good morning. My
Good
name is
morning.
Kai Zalmut. I'm an incoming freshman at the University of Michigan at Dearborn. And I've been to a couple networking events and I've had experience with networking over the past summer working. And from what I've learned, networking is basically what Carlos said, meeting people and making connections. But it's also, getting to know, like Carlos said, what people do. And sorry, I'm trying to find the words. Trying to learn and understand what people do so that later you can go back to them and say, hey, I need help with a project, or hey, I have something you can work on, or hey, I'd like to work with you, and see through those people who they know that might be able to help you as well.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, could you repeat your name? I did not catch it when you introduced yourself.
My name is Kais Zalmut.
Kais Zalmut. Thank you. So what I'm hearing is that networking is a little bit selfish. Oh, we network because we might need somebody. Am I hearing correctly? Carlos, Kais Zalmut?
So, do you want me to take this one, or you want?
Sure.
Okay. So I would say it's a little. It's a mutual agreement between, or a mutual connection between you and the other person, and it can be applied not just to yourself but also to people that you know. So when you connect with someone else, you're basically giving them some access to your when you network with someone else, you're giving them access to your connections because they know you. And because you know them, you're given access to some of their connections as well. And it's sort of expected that, sometimes, or it's really nice if, you hear somebody talking about something one day and you're like, hey, I actually know somebody who can help you with this, or who might be able to help with this. Do you want me to introduce you? So I wouldn't say it's entirely selfish, but it is more, I'd say it's more mutual than anything else.
Wonderful. Was that you, Carlos?
Yeah.
Okay. So I love that you use the word access. So because we don't have a lot of time, I want to give you guys a definition of networking. Feel free to challenge me because, we all learn through stories. We're human beings. We learn through stories. So I'm an immigrant kid. My dad won the visa lottery. That's how we came to the U.S. I was fortunate to attend the University of Michigan on scholarship. And the thing about it is I was like the best immigrant kid, first child student ever. I did all the things that the University of Michigan had to offer. I studied abroad, I interned, I did the undergraduate research opportunities program. I mean, whatever program was out there, I was applying and I was doing it. But here is the reality. The reality is when I graduated without a job. And it was embarrassing, right? So you have these parents, my parents who were working 2 to 3 jobs to support me, and here I am going to Michigan and I didn't have a job. Embarrassing. And then what I learned from that experience, because everybody would say, well, you have to go network, you have to go network. And I'm kind of like, okay, great. I'm happy to go network. Like I'm a nice person. I know how to build relationships, but that wasn't going anywhere. And when you Google like, hey, how do I network? Everybody gives you tips and tricks, but no one really helps you understand it. So I remember being in Singapore with the dean of LSA, at the University of Michigan, and I was going to leave Michigan to go work at Henry Ford, and I said, hey, I really want to teach. And he's like, okay, great, what do you want to teach? And I'm like, I want to teach networking. And he said, okay, what's your problem? And I'm like, the problem is the dean's office. I said, it's impossible for the program to get me to teach. And he's like, oh, well, I'm the dean. And I said, I know. Right? So then I had built a relationship with a dean. We were traveling internationally because of work. And because he knew me, right, we had built trust. And because I had access to him, he said, okay, great, CC me on your next email. And that's how I got to teach at the University of Michigan 8 years ago. And the reason why I wanted to teach this class is because I didn't want any other student to be in the same position as me, which was I don't want any student to graduate without an opportunity waiting for them at the end of the finish line, which we call graduation. So this is what I have learned. I have learned that America is the land of opportunity, and I've learned this as an immigrant kid. But opportunities don't fall from the sky. Opportunities have to be given to us by humans, right? So even if you're applying at a company, let's say General Motors, you're applying to the University of Michigan to get a job, you're applying at Ford, you're applying to, you name the company, you're not applying to the company. You're applying because there is a human on the other end that is making decisions. So like the one thing I want you to remember from our time today is that humans make decisions. Okay? Can you nod? I can sort of see you. Does that make sense for everybody? That humans make decisions. The people in the room, like I look at everybody in the room, those are the people that one day might have opportunities that might interest you, or those are the people that you're going to go and give opportunities to and say, hey, are you interested? Will you come and join me so that we can do something together? So just like Carlos says, it's a mutual agreement. I help you, you help me. That's how the world goes round. But remember, in networking, right? Let's just break it down, the word networking, right? Networking is the act, right? ING, the gerund at the end, right? ING is taking action on something, right? So network, ING, you take action on a network. So what is a network? It's a system of interconnected people and relationships. So when you bring that together, networking is the act of just activating relationships. So when when people, tell you, okay, you have to go out there and network, they really say go and build relationships, go and get to know people. I'm going to challenge that definition and define networking as follows. Networking is about building, it's about nurturing, and it's about activating relationships to access opportunity to advance a goal or purpose. So when we go out there and network, if we're just going out there and be like, hi, I'm Tina, how's it going? We really missed out on an opportunity. So the thing that I also want to leave you with is that when you're out there networking, make sure you know who you really are and what you're trying to accomplish, right? What is your goal? If you're looking for an internship, be open, be honest, be authentic. Say, hey, I'm looking for an internship for next summer. I'm really passionate about this thing. What thoughts do you have for me? Do you have any ideas for me? Because the reality of it is people love to help. Go start thinking about something that you're really looking for, right? Like with something that you really want, and then start asking people. I bet you that 9 out of 10 people would be like, hey, let me introduce you to my friend so-and-so. Hey, have you have you listened to this podcast? I think it'll give you good ideas. People really want to help. And I know this because if I were to ask any of you for help, and the act of asking is activating the network, I know a lot of you, if you can help me, I know that you would. So networking is about building, nurturing, and activating relationships to access opportunities so that you can reach a goal. right? So building relationships is the part where it's, hi, I'm Tina, and hi, Carlos, it's really nice to meet you. So we build that relationships. I know you, you know me. Nurturing a relationship is all about building trust. It's about that mutual agreement of I help you and you help me. A lot of undergrad students and high school students, they often say it in my class, like, what could I possibly offer? You know what I mean? Why would somebody want to help me? Well, guess what? People want to help you, and what they get in return, which I hope you will give, is just an act of gratitude, if nothing else. But there is more than gratitude, right? So you get to say thank you, you get to show your gratitude, but you get to tell them, like, hey, this is me, and if I can be helpful to you, please let me know. And you have your own point of view, which is really valuable to people who are of different generations or at different levels in a company. Because remember, you are a target market for many, many companies and many businesses. So having access to your point of view is a gift in itself. So that's just, two things: gratitude, your point of view. There are so many other things that you can offer, another human being that you are networking with. So leveraging relationships. So once you know someone, once you build trust with them, leveraging relationships is about the impact. Let's do something good together. But in order to leverage a relationship, you have to make an ask. So I have a lot of friends, many of them happen to be female, where they just focus on building the relationship and building the trust. And then, it's like, oh, I can't go and ask that person for that because, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't feel comfortable yet. Well, guess what? If you don't ask somebody and they potentially need what you offer, you're not allowing them to leverage your genius. And what's the worst that can happen when you ask somebody for something? What's the worst that could happen? They say no. Well, if they say no, you say, okay, I understand. Do you know somebody who might be able to help me? Once you're clear about what you want and why you want it, the universe, you manifest it. The universe will transpire to help you. I'm probably sounding like, a book right now in making that kind of statement, but it's really true. I'll give you guys an example of why that works. So I drive a Ford Explorer, okay? But I haven't always driven a Ford Explorer. What happened once I started driving a Ford Explorer? What car do you think I kept noticing on the road? Go ahead, yell it out.
Ford.
Huh?
Ford.
A Ford Explorer, right? So the same thing happens with your goal and your purpose. Once you say, hey, I want an internship in Washington, D.C., preferably with a congressman or senator, every time you're looking, whether it's on LinkedIn or you're talking to people, the opportunities, that you notice are the opportunities that are aligned with what you set forth. Does that make sense? But if you're saying, I'll take anything, it's going to be really hard for you to network effectively, because then people are going to be confused. They're going to be like, hey, I want to help you, but I don't really know what you want. Does that make sense? Carlos is nodding. He's the only one that I can see nodding.
I was going to say,
Can I
we've got
see some-
lots of nods going in
I got
the
lots
back.
of nods. Okay.
Yes.
So I give you a definition of networking, right? Carlos explained that really the purpose of networking is the giving of seeking of opportunities, right? It's all about access. And I hope that I drove the point home when I said, yes, because this is my immigrant story, right? America's the land of opportunity, but opportunities don't fall from the sky. Other humans have to give those opportunities to you. Does that make sense for everybody? You don't just apply for a job. There's somebody that has to react to that application. But the best people don't even apply generally. The best people build the relationships, let people know what they want, let people know who they are, right? Build a reputation, and then let their reputation, do the work for them. most of the jobs that people apply for online, most people don't hear back. Because it's all about trust, right? The core of any relationship, like the key ingredient, the required ingredient of any relationship is trust. So if you're able to build high trust relationships, you're gonna go very far in life. And if you're not capable of building high trust relationships, it's gonna be hard. Especially for jobs that are, influencing job, right? Leadership jobs. Because leadership is all about influence. It's not about doing the work. It's how do you empower, how do you inspire a team of people to work together to achieve a common goal? Does that make sense? So now I was invited to talk about LinkedIn. So how many of you have a LinkedIn?
Got some raised hands.
Okay. Of those of you that have LinkedIn, how many of you use it? Okay, so for the hands that went up, tell me what are the benefits of LinkedIn? Why do you use LinkedIn? How do you use LinkedIn? And I asked this question because there are some, hands that didn't go up.
I'm Allison, and I think a benefit of LinkedIn is just to know like who you can connect with.
Okay.
Just to know like if you want to connect with someone, what's the easiest way to connect with them? And I think the best way is LinkedIn for sure. And I also use it
Okay.
too.
You use it to what?
I also use it too.
Okay. Anybody else?
I would say LinkedIn is especially great for connecting because the entire purpose of the site is just to connect with other people, or I should say, I keep using the word connect, network with other people. So it makes the, expectation really like anybody can connect with me. The expectation is kind of low because the site is only used for connections. So, anybody in this room could add me on LinkedIn right now. In fact, you should. And I would accept it because that's the point of it.
Okay, anybody else? No? Okay, so earlier I defined networking, right? And I said networking is the act of, activating relationships, right? Act of leveraging the network, right? Yes? Nod? So LinkedIn is really a tool of networking. So you can say, LinkedIn is networking, but no, it's just a tool of networking. So if you don't understand what networking is, if you don't understand what a networking mindset is, right? And I said it earlier, a networking mindset is the belief that we can achieve our goals and purposes through our relationships with others, right? People give opportunities to other people. Humans give opportunities to other people. So if you don't understand, that networking is, more than just building relationships, it's of nurturing the relationships, it's leveraging relationships, right? Then LinkedIn just becomes oh yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, I've created my profile. But if you don't nurture the relationships and if you don't keep adding to your network, then you're not really maximizing LinkedIn. So whoever is directing their camera, how many, what's the breakdown of the room in terms of how many people raise their hands, who, have LinkedIn?
I would say like a third. Would you guys agree? A third of our students today.
Okay. Well, I mean, with such a short time, it's really hard for me to do a full workshop on LinkedIn. I feel like you need 2 hours so that people can, go and create profiles. But I'll tell you sort of the 6-7 key things. Maybe you guys can write them down. I'm happy to share slides later on because I've offered this in my class, but I'll talk them out. You guys take notes because learning happens by writing things down. But create your profile. Please include your name. Please include a headline. don't say student, right? Because that is not going to be meaningful for you. Tell the world what goal you have. You know, do you want to be in, you know, environmental affairs? Do you want to be an immigration attorney? What is it that you want? Let's find keywords that relate to the field that interests you. Because the whole goal, right, of LinkedIn is not only to share expertise, but to find people, right, for people to find you, right? Remember, it's mutually beneficial. So you can go out there and be, you know, active and find others, but the strategic networkers make it easy for others to find them, right? So when you're clear on who you are and what you want, as I said earlier, then, you know, people who care about the things that you care about or who have needs around that, they're gonna find you a lot faster. And because, I mean, at the end of the day, we want to find people who believe what we believe. Like, we want that value alignment. So the headline will take a bit of time, only because you need to do a little bit or a lot of bit of reflecting on, hey, what is it that I want to, you know, accomplish? Whether it's in the next year, whether in the next 5 years, or, you know, what world problem you want to solve. Like, you know, how do you want to express your leadership in the world? And then as you're doing that reflecting, LinkedIn has an About Me section where you get to tell your story in first person, you know, where you can say, I, you know, believe X, Y, and Z. I'm really interested in ABC, you know, and just really tell the story so that you're able to connect with someone. And as I said earlier, we all connect through stories. So give people a story so that they can really understand you and what makes you you. So I talked a little bit about my immigrant parents. When everything that I do, and I think my life's purpose is to inspire people to live their best lives, it's very much related to their sacrifice. They gave up everything. My dad was an engineer. My mom was a nurse midwife. When they came to the US, my dad worked maintenance at a country club outside the grounds, and my mom worked maintenance inside. So they made a huge sacrifice so I could have a chance, you know, at living the American dream. And I'm really committed to making sure that other people have a chance to live the American dream, you know, as well. You know, and you don't have to be an immigrant to live the American dream. There's like opportunity. There's plenty of people who don't have the opportunity and the access. And I think networking is the great, you know, access equalizer. And that's why I teach the class that I teach. Make sure you include your experiences on your LinkedIn, just like you would on a resume. And I'm sure they're teaching you all how to do resumes. You know, think creatively. You know, I know that you guys are, you know, high school and college, but there are group projects that you guys and girls and gals are doing. Sorry, I got feedback that I say you guys, you know, in a talk once, and I can't break it, but you all, I should be saying you all. So apologies for that. See, I'm working, you know, on my own self-leadership, but include as many experiences as you can. And if you don't know if something is worth including or not, you know, find a friend, find a mentor, find someone from the program. Heck, why don't you add me on LinkedIn? And if you want to run something by me, I would be more than happy to help as well. So once you really fill your profile, where you get to say like, hey guys, I am part of the network, then, you know, the next step that has to happen is the actual engagement piece. So you go out there and, you know, add your friends. I don't know how many people are in this program. I think I heard it was like 60 to 75, but that's 60 to 74 plus me, 75 people that you can add to your network right now. I'm going to tell you one story on why it's so important to not only build the relationships and nurture the relationships, and I learned this in grad school. So when I was in grad school, one of my professors was a human rights professor, and I was in grad school, so this is a public policy degree at the same time that Condoleezza Rice was Secretary of State. So my professor had studied with Condoleezza Rice. They were PhD students together at the University of Colorado, I believe. But they didn't take the time to get to know each other, right? I'm sure they knew who the other was, but they didn't really build a high trust relationship. And I remember my professor saying to us all, make sure you get to know the people in the program, because if I would have gotten to know Condoleezza Rice, I probably would be an assistant secretary of state right now. Does that story make sense? Because humans give opportunities to other humans. I mean, I can tell you stories upon stories of my former students when I teach this, and they say, hey, I was an intern for, Governor Whitner's, appointment, or, where they appoint they appoint officials to boards and committees. And she said, Tina, like every time, we say, hey, we need to find 2 people for this commission. It's not like we have a list of, hey, these are the smartest people in the room, or these are the smartest people in the state of Michigan. People nominate people they know, right? So go and build the relationships, nurture those relationships, be clear and make sure people understand who you are. So if there is an opportunity out there that aligns with what you care about, you are the first person that somebody thinks of. The best networkers are clear, and they have other people working on their behalf. Does that make sense? Yes, no? Are there nods? It's like really.
Yeah, we've got nods
Yeah.
going.
Okay, good. So go out there and add as many people as you can. Write a personalized note when you make those connections, and let people know who you are and why you're reaching out to them. I can tell you that when I read a new book, I read the book, I get, I learn things, and then I go and find the authors. We're on LinkedIn and say, hey, I read your book, these are the 3 big takeaways, and then I start building a relationship with that author. When I listen to a podcast, right, and then there is like a new guest being interviewed, I go and find those people and I follow them or I add them, right? So initially it starts as in, hey, like, I'd like to welcome you to my network, but then I engage with their content, and then the more I engage, then they engage back, right? So that like, think of it as an infinity loop, right? It's like I give into the relationship and they give back, and the stronger, that connection is, right, the stronger, the relationship. So it's really easy to add to your network, even, using the existing infrastructure that you have. So whoever it is that you read about and all that kind of, and all that kind of stuff, you can just go and add those individuals, on LinkedIn and build a network. Follow companies that might interest you. And then last 2 things I want to talk about are posting, which I highly recommend that once you create a profile, if you want to be someone people remember, you have to stand for something, right? To be a leader, and I'm assuming you're talking a lot about leadership in this program, you have to stand for something, because leaders inspire other people to join something. So if you don't stand for something and say, hey, like, we got to solve this problem, are you really a leader? Or are you just following somebody else's, idea, which is fine. I am the best second person. Like, the first person says, I have an idea, and the second person says, oh my God, I'm in, let's go solve that problem. Which, the second person makes the first person a leader, right? But what is it that you stand for? What change do you wish to see in the world? What change do you wish to be in the world? Tell the world that. And don't be shy about it, right? So earlier I said, hey, like, who else wants to share their thoughts? It's, in this world, your thoughts make you who you are. What you believe, right? What your values are, that's what makes you who you are. So tell the world, share articles. Tell the world what you think, about what was said in those articles. Shared a podcast that meant a lot to you. Give the world, right? Give the network your 2 cents. Because people want to know what you stand for. Because in finding our tribe, right? In finding, our people, in finding our group, people want to find others who believe what they believe, right? So if I believe in inspiring people to live their best lives, those are the people that I attract. I have a lot of people who care about helping others live their purpose, find their purpose, and live their purpose. So it's hard, the initial post, but practice makes permanent. Doesn't make perfect, it makes permanent. So create a structure and create a habit around it. And then there's other people who post very, very regularly. You can engage with their posts. So you can do comments. And I'm sure many of you have Facebook. So, LinkedIn works a little bit like, or a lot of it like Facebook. So you already know how to do this. So just be more intentional and more, more present, and then share your energy with the world. And believe me, it matters. We need your ideas, we need your insights, because that's the only way that we can make meaningful change. It's not gonna, meaningful change doesn't happen when it's, just the loudest people in the room or the loudest people in the country. It's when, everyone is represented. So I talked a lot. I think I went over. I apologize, to the organizers, to the team. But is this helpful? Was this helpful?
There's lots of nodding, even though it's a little quiet.
Okay. What questions do you have for me? Because I'm going to give you homework, right? I'm really going to give you homework. So, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Aisha. My question is, how do you keep in touch with people? Because that's my biggest issue of like, I meet with a person and then I'm like, yeah, we should stay connected. But then I never know how to do that and like what to say to them to stay connected,
So, yeah, so give us an example of you said Aisha or Airsha?
Aisha.
Aisha, I'm sorry. Aisha, so give us an example of the last time that, you met somebody and you want to stay connected. And then because that would be a real example that applies to you, I think it could be more, it could be helpful to everybody in the room.
So I had the opportunity to meet with a librarian specialist in like the religious studies field, which is something that I'm interested in pursuing. And, I was able to talk to them about school and career stuff. And I think that they would be a really cool person to like keep in touch with. So yeah, I don't know
Perfect.
how.
Yeah. So, so obviously you're interested in perhaps being a librarian or being in that field, and particularly in the religious, subcategory of that. So there are lots of points of connection between you and this person that you met, right? So what could be some of the points of connection?
Well, I know I can email them, and with my internship, I believe that their office is in the library that I work in currently.
Right. But what's from a meaning perspective, like from a values perspective, like from a, we want to find people who believe what we believe. Like, what are some of those points of connection? Like, what did you talk about, during this conversation that you were like, wow, this is interesting. Like, this is someone I want to develop a relationship with.
I mean, I guess just they're very interesting and their story is very interesting, and we were able to connect over, I guess, like trying to navigate being in a field where it's built on like racism and colonialism and trying to find a way to heal its wounds, and like I really want to continue that conversation, and like I don't know how.
That is perfect. So, this is advice that I give myself, and this is advice I give students, clients, everybody. So, once you built a meaningful relationship with somebody at a first meeting, then you say to yourself, okay, within the first 24 hours, I'm going to write that gratitude note, right? I'm going to say, it was really nice to meet you, and be really specific about what was meaningful to you, right? So you just said, hey, we really care about healing because, a lot of this space is really built on, racism and discrimination, et cetera, et cetera. Like, be fully and authentically yourself, right? So that the other person knows what that conversation meant to you, right? Because we can't assume anything. We can't assume that somebody else gets it. People are busy. I mean, it used to be like 3 seconds is the attention span. I'm sure it's lower now, or maybe it was 7, now it's 3. But you get the idea, right? So people are meeting people and moving on to the next thing, right? So make sure that you let people know what the time they spent with you meant to you, and do that in the first like 24 hours. And then after that, I would recommend you do a touch point in a week where you get to say, hey, I read this article. It made me think of our conversation. Hope you're doing well. And then after that, you can do check-ins like, every month, every 2 months, every quarter, where you get to do something similar. I thought of you because, that's the idea. That's the point of connection. I thought of you, whatever that connection, may be. And here's the thing. It sounds like I'm giving you a tip and a trick, but you have to get to the point where it's organic, right? It's like you truly do think of them when you, when you see something. So I'll give you an example. So I'm a fundraiser by background. I remember being at TJ Maxx, which happens to be my very favorite store, and I spent an obscene amount of money on things that I probably don't need and shouldn't buy. But I remember being the checkout line. You know how they sell mugs at TJ Maxx, usually in the checkout line? Yep, I see nods. I love the nods for like TJ Maxx shopping. And there was a mug that had a lipstick handle, right? Like it was, I don't know, something like all the powerful women, like, wear their lipstick bold or something. I don't remember. This was probably like 5 or 10 years ago. And I took that mug, which was $4, $3.99 plus tax, and I wrapped it up and I sent it to one of my donors because she loves lipstick. You know what I mean? Like she can tell you the number and the color of like big brands of lipstick, and you know what I mean? She can tell you like so much about lipstick. You know what I mean? So this $4 mug meant so much to her, right? Because it was related to something that she cared about, right? If somebody takes the time to tell you about something, it means something to them, right? So pay attention. So when we talk about like, active listening skills and why listening is such an important skill for leaders, you know what I mean? Pay attention to what people are saying to you. What people say to you means a lot to them, right? So you can do, gifts are my love language. Feel free to go and take the love languages test. Like there's words of affirmation, time, physical touch, you know what I mean? And, be authentic to you. So I buy a lot of gifts, and I send people gifts. We had a speaker once when I was at Henry Ford who talked about intentional energetic presence. There was a book that I found, or notebook on radiate positivity. I bought it and I sent it to her, right? So you can do creative ways that aligns with, who that person is and the relationship you want to nurture. Is that helpful, Aisha?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Carlos has a question.
So
Carlos, you're front and center, so it's easy to see you. That's why I'm picking on you.
Do you have to do stuff like that for every like how many, or I would say like how many people out of like it, just like percentage wise proportionally, how many people in your network do you really do that for? Because like I know people in my network who I don't really talk to a lot. Like I don't invest actively in communication, but if they were ever to reach out to me, I'd be like, sure, I'm always ready to hear what they have to say. So is that like, is that just like one, is that what you do for people that you really like, the everybody, or a few people?
Right. So so they say that we can probably handle about 150 relationships, really get to know people. So Obviously, I'm in the business of relationships, so I think I can handle more than 150 relationships, but for the average person, it's 150 people. It doesn't cost me very much to congratulate somebody, you know, if they have a new position on LinkedIn. It doesn't cost me very much, you know, when somebody, you know, writes, you know, their heart out on a post. You know, like let's say somebody was laid off and, oh, you know what I mean? Like they're looking for a next job. It doesn't cost me very much to say, hey, you know, please reach out to my friend. Maybe they can be helpful to you, right? So it doesn't have to be just, you know, it can be a variety of things. The idea is, and I go back to, you know, my statement, be someone people remember, right? Because they say, you know, build the relationships before you need them, right? So when you need something, right? And the need doesn't have to be any job. It could be something else. It could be, I need a guest speaker, right? You know, when somebody reaches out to you, are they going to know who you are? So when I talk about building and nurturing relationships, right? The more you nurture a relationship, the higher the trust. The higher the trust, the higher the chances that somebody is going to, you know, take the extra time to be helpful to you. Does that make sense, Carlos? So if you can do something a little bit more, why not do it? And I truly, truly believe that who you are and how you show up in the world will always come back to you, right? Because with every action that we take, we are showing the world who we are. You know, we are showing the world, like, we're building that reputation, but more than anything, that becomes a part of our brand. You know, everybody talks about personal brand. A personal brand is not like, hey, your LinkedIn profile. A personal brand is how you show up in the world. A personal brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. And what people say about you when you're not in the room is dependent on their experience with you. Or it's dependent on the experience of someone they trust with you, right? Because you have to earn trust. There's no other way. But sometimes you can extend trust, or somebody else can extend trust to you. And this is what we mean when we say, oh yeah, let me connect you to my friend. Does that make sense? But your friend, if they say yes to a meeting, is doing it out of respect and out of trust that they have with you. Is that a nod, Carlos? Yeah. I see your back. I see the back of your head.
Yes, he's nodding yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yes, sorry. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Sarah, and this kind of goes back to the first question, and I know you mentioned sort of how to maintain your network and reaching out monthly or quarterly, but what if months have passed, and how would you sort of approach someone in your network differently if you haven't been maintaining the relationship as you should have been? Thank you.
That's a really good question. Is it Sarah or Zara?
Sarah with an S.
Oh, Sarah. Okay, my daughter is Zara. Okay, that's a very, very good question. So here are a couple things. I can tell you that I have a University of Michigan email account. I have a Gmail account. I have an account for, you know, my business. I have an account for my new job that I'm about to start. I have a WhatsApp. I have, you know, text messages. You know what I'm saying? There is a lot. I have LinkedIn, right? People send me messages. There are a lot of ways to reach people these days, right? I can also tell you, you're probably going to think like I'm a crazy person, but if you look at my email, I have 7,723, you know, emails that I haven't read. Okay, there's a lot of junk, but what I'm saying is we get a lot of emails. You know what I mean? So the higher up somebody that you're trying to reach is in an organization. You know, they're in meetings and they're, you know what I mean? We're not all on email all the time so that we can respond, you know, in a timely fashion. You know, so I wanna share that with you, that if you reach out to someone and they haven't responded, chances are they're busy, and not that they don't want to talk to you. Okay? Can we all like accept that? You know, because I can tell you that I'm I'm getting worse at responding on time just because there's just so much coming at me. So I can give you the example when Tabitha reached out. I think it took me a couple of days to respond. By the way, I moved from California to Michigan. I also, in that email, I said, this is my cell phone number. Like, let's talk, right? Because, what is it that you want to do? So if you haven't been, if you haven't heard back from somebody, give it a week and try again. Okay. Once you try again, you can try again by writing an email. You can try again by sending a LinkedIn message or figuring out what's that point of connection. Get in the business of when you meet people and you've had a face-to-face conversation, get people's cell phone numbers. Yeah, the fastest way to get a hold of somebody is via text message. I'm to the point where even with my donors, that I worked with, it's all text conversations. I've raised, $1.5 million on a gift over text message, right? Because that's just what their preferred method of communication is. So understanding that, then once you reach out, your feedback. Once you reach out, I go back to being clear on what you want, right? So if you're going to reach out to me or you're going to reach out to somebody, you can say, hey, dear Tina, I would really love your help in trying to strategize about some internship opportunities, in immigration policy. Would you be willing to give me 15 minutes of your time because I know that, you've been a part of this world in the past. Right? If you say, well, I'm looking for an internship and it can be in international relations, it can be in research, it can be in this, and it can be in this, I'm going to be like, okay, where do we begin? Why, why are you you want my help? I want to help you, but what is it that you want from me? Do you understand, Sarah, what I'm saying? So be clear so that when somebody gets that email, they can start strategizing and saying, oh, I got to introduce her to this person. I got to send her this article, and I got to, tell her that she really needs to listen to this podcast. You know what I mean? You want to make it as easy as possible for other people to help you, right? Because you can reach out to me, but I'm not the only, I most likely won't have the opportunity that you seek, right? So by contacting me, as Carlos said, you're getting access to my network, right? So my network has opportunities, information, ideas, and whatever it is that you seek. And if I can't help you myself, I'll be like, let me introduce you to, somebody who might. Is that helpful?
Yes, thank you.
Are you sure?
Well, I think my question, maybe let me reword it, is sort of,
Okay.
for example, I made a connection with somebody months ago and I haven't kept up with it. How would I reapproach them to?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really easy. So why do you want to contact them? Why did that person all of a sudden come up? There is no, I'm not a big schmoozer. I'm a very transparent person in how I show up. So that's how I teach. But being honest, tell me why you want to reconnect with this person, and I'll tell you exactly what to say.
So a while ago, so they used to work at LinkedIn, and they were like, I told them I don't really use my LinkedIn account. I made it, but it's just has a picture, my name, but I don't do anything with it. And she was like, I can help you with it. And I want to sort of take that offer up, but I know it's been so long, so I don't know how to approach her about it.
That's awesome. So what's this person's name, first name?
Alice.
Alice. Okay, great. So you owe Alice a little bit of work. So we're not going to reach out to Alice until you actually give it a good effort of working on your LinkedIn. So you're going to go and do some of the things that I mentioned to you. By the way, if you Google how to maximize my LinkedIn profile, there's plenty of stuff, plenty of webinars, plenty of free stuff, right? So you're going to go and do your very best at filling out your LinkedIn. You're gonna start liking companies. You're gonna make your first post. You're gonna add everybody in the program. You're gonna add me, And then you're going to be like, Dear Alice, it's been a busy year, but you've been on top of my mind, and I didn't feel comfortable reaching out until I made an honest effort at working on my LinkedIn profile. See my new LinkedIn profile. I would love to connect, to hear your thoughts, and to see how you're doing. And I want to tell you about the SummerWorks program and everything that I'm learning. And I really hope that, going forward, I can leverage my LinkedIn to identify, and explore some cool opportunities. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's really helpful. Thank you very much.
Okay, good. Anybody else?
We have time for one more. We have time for one more question. Anyone have one
Okay.
last question? Anyone? Going once? Going twice? I think that it concludes all of our questions for you today.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for having me. In closing, I do have, a one pager, kind of like, top 5 takeaways that you can take with you. I also created an online class called How to Network Leading Yourself to Lead Others. It's free. It's on Coursera. It's on Michigan Online. I can send you all the link if you're interested. And I hope that you will add me on, LinkedIn. And if I could ever be helpful to any of you, please let me know. If any of you who are, in the Ann Arbor campus, if you're interested in taking my class, feel free to ask. I'm happy to give overrides because leadership is personal. And if you ask, I will probably say yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Can we give a big round of applause? We really appreciate you taking the time to come and speak with us today.
Thank you. I hope I get to meet some of you or all of you in person someday soon.
Yes, we hope so too. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, all. Bye, all. Bye.
Okay, let's come back together, y'all. So we have a cover letter workshop right now. We will be hearing from Cheryl Harvey, who is the Director of Career Success at the Washtenaw Community College Center for Career Success. She has also worked in similar roles in a Troy area creative college. She was an elementary school teacher, and she loves the arts, reading, theater, movies, and travel. So we are very grateful to Cheryl for taking some time out of her day to present to us. Cheryl, you are muted.
Okay.
Thank you.
Am I here? You're good. Well, hello, everyone. As I was introduced, my name is Cheryl Harvey, and I am the Director of Career Services at Washtenaw Community College, and I'm so happy to be here with you all today. I must say, Tina was amazing, and she gave such great advice that I took notes, and I think I'll be connecting with her as a LinkedIn friend. So I hope all of you took notes and got some good information today. And I hope that I am able to share something with you that you will find helpful. So today I'm going to talk about cover letters. And before you even think about cover letters, you have to have a resume. Can I see the number of hands of people who have a resume already? Everybody should? Great, 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 great. Because you can't really draft a cover letter unless you have a resume. And for those people who may not know what a cover letter is and what it's for, let me just say that many times when you apply for a job, they will ask you for a cover letter. And part of the review for the job is looking at your resume, looking at your cover letter, and then conducting an interview with you. So let's talk a little bit about the cover letter. I have a PowerPoint presentation, so hopefully I'll share my screen. You all will be able to see it, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions once we're done. So let me get this started. Okay, here we go. I think we're all set. So once again, I am located at Washtenaw Community College. And here we have what we call the Center for Career Success. And we help students with anything they need related to finding a job. So that's creating a resume. We help with doing cover letters. We do mock interviews, all of that. So once you go to college, or if you're in college, if you are looking for a job, I encourage you to visit your career center because you will find so many resources to help you. So the question today is, do I need a cover letter? You probably don't need one today, but eventually you will need a cover letter if you are looking for a job. So many times you will read a job description and they will say to you at the end, please fill out this application, submit your resume, and submit a cover letter. And let me tell you, as someone in leadership at Washtenaw, I do a lot of interviewing. I talk to a lot of people with bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, PhDs, everything. And we will ask for a cover letter. And let me tell you, so many people do not know how to write a cover letter, or a cover letter that's engaging enough to make us as a hiring committee say, we want to hire this person, they are great. And really that's what your cover letter is for, is to give information that people cannot glean from your resume. So when you submit a cover letter, the statistics are 1 in 4 recruiters will read your cover letter. So people read them, right? It introduces your resume. It provides detail that you can't put in your resume. And once again, if you are going for a job, they use those cover letters to help screen and make sure you are the right candidate for the job. Okay, so here is a cover letter. And it looks just like a plain letter, right? And it is, but there are some very specific things that you need to have in your cover letter. There are things that people will be looking for when they get a cover letter from you. And from this one piece of paper, they are able to tell, are you detail oriented? Do you know how to write a letter, right? Can you form a sentence? Can you put your thoughts down clearly in writing? So you may think that the cover letter is just a way for you to tell people that you want a job or the reasons why you should get a job, but really people take so much more from that cover letter. So many people spend hundreds of dollars to get that perfect resume, right? They think that that is the thing that will get them the job. But before people look at your resume, guess what? They look at your cover letter. And if you have grammatical errors, if it's not formatted right, if you don't have all the information that you need in that cover letter, people make a judgment about your ability to do a job from those things. So a cover letter is very, very important. Even though maybe only 1 out of 4 people will read your cover letter, you want to impress that one person that does. And so here you see a list that conveys all of the things that people look for in a cover letter when they read your cover letter, right? They want to make sure, do you know how to do a salutation correctly? Do you know Mr., Ms.? Do you know who's hiring for the job? Do you know, and we'll be talking about some of these things a little bit more in more detail as I go through the presentation today. So make sure, and this is where people make a huge mistake, is that something as simple as putting their contact information on a cover letter, they miss that part. Why is it important for you to have your contact information on a letter? The reason why is that if I am reviewing your information and I want to contact you, 9 times out of 10, I am going to go to your cover letter to get your contact information. Do I need your address? Do I need an email address? Do I need a phone number? If I can't go to your cover letter and pull that information quickly, it makes me think a certain way about you. So when you do a cover letter, make sure that you have all of the ways people can contact you on your cover letter. And that's even if you have a LinkedIn page. A lot of times people will put the information for their LinkedIn page as part of their contact information, because you want people, right? If you have taken the time to put together a great LinkedIn page, you have all of your credentials on there, your work history, you want people to go and look at it and have it be a good representation of you. So let's talk about how you start a cover letter, right? Everybody knows, Dear Mr. Smith, that's on here on our presentation page. Dear Mrs. Jones, but what if you don't know, right, who you're writing to? Have you read the job description? Did you go through the job description? Do you know who's hiring for the job? Do you know the office where they're hiring from the job? Just in this little portion of the cover letter, people can tell whether or not you took the time to even look into the job. So when I'm writing a cover letter, I'm going to go back to a job description that I saw, or I'm going to go to a LinkedIn contact if someone told me, recommended a job to me that I'm applying for. Do you know who the hiring manager is? If you do, this is the person that you write your cover letter to. So a cover letter is a regular letter that you are writing to the person who is hiring for the job. You want to have their name if you know it. If you don't know the person's name, at least do you know what department is hiring? Do you know what company is hiring? Do you know if it's an HR person? So it's perfectly okay if you cannot find who the hiring person is so that you have a name for them, you can put Dear Hiring Manager, Dear Hiring Committee, or even, and this is a little old school, to whom it may concern. You want to have some type of greeting though, and if possible, you need to know the gender of the person you're addressing the letter to, so you can put Ms. or Mr., and you want to know that person's name. So that's going to start our cover letter. A cover letter is typically 3 paragraphs, right? And in those 3 paragraphs, you are trying to make the best impression you can so that someone wants to hire you. This is where you get to have your voice heard. You get to show your personality. You are introducing them to the person that you are. So your first paragraph should be something that grabs that person's attention. Just like if you're reading a book, right? That first page lets you know, do I want to keep reading this book? It seems kind of boring. Maybe I'll give it a couple more pages. Well, here you have 1 page, and you want to put your best foot forward in that 1 page. Your first paragraph sets the tone for your cover letter for that job. It doesn't have to just be, hello, Mrs. Smith. My name is Cheryl Harvey, and I want the job as the promotions manager for your company. Make it something attention grabbing. Make it something that lets somebody know, hey, I want to read this cover letter. This person sounds really interesting. I want to get to know more about them. So I hate when people read slides when they're up on the screen, but for some of this context, I'm going to read the examples just because I think my point, I can hit home with my point if I'm reading. So instead of, hello, my name is Cheryl Harvey. I want to be a production manager for your company. I start my cover letter with, my last boss once told me that my phone manner could probably diffuse an international hostage situation. I've always had a knack for communicating with people, the easygoing and the difficult alike. And I love to bring that skill to your open office manager position. That should make you want to keep reading, right? Wow, this person has a story to tell. They're just not cut and dry like I probably am for this presentation, but they are interesting and fun, and they have something going on that I want to continue reading about. So you may think that a cover letter for a job, you have to be conservative and strict and I don't know, giving facts. But no, you can be conversational without being casual or too familiar. And that really is the tone that you want to go for. You want people to want to continue to get to know about you. So here, and I won't read these to you because we'll be here all day, but here are some other examples of ways that people have used to be interesting, but still introduce themselves, still say what they want, right? I'm applying, or what they're doing. I'm applying for this job, but to make it interesting and engaging. Okay, and I can share the slides with you later if you like, so you don't have to sit here and read everything. But just remember, when you're starting a cover letter, be fun. So your second paragraph in your cover letter, and remember I said that most of the time cover letters have 3 paragraphs. So the first one, you're introducing yourself, you're introducing your personality, you're making people want to read and get to know about you. It's that second paragraph where you get down to the nitty-gritty of telling someone why you are the best person for the job, or what skills you have, or why you are a candidate that they need to bring in to interview. So here is where, well, you may say to yourself, I have a resume. They should be able to read my resume and see for themselves exactly what skills I have, what I've done. But let me tell you, people are more apt to read your cover letter than they are your resume. They will glance through a resume, hit the high points. Did they go to college? What education do they have? What companies have they worked for? But people who are recruiting and hiring really don't take the time, I hate to say it, but to read someone's resume word for word. Because if you have hundreds of candidates that you're looking to bring, that you're considering for a job, you don't have time to read everybody's resume. You may take time to scan that cover letter. So here is where in that second paragraph, it is where you want to tell people exactly why you are the best person for the job. So you briefly, and as the bullets say here, you briefly touch on the information from your resume. All the highlights that match the skills that they want to see for that particular job. And I probably forgot to say that it's really difficult to draft one cover letter and use it for every job that you apply for. It's not possible because if you are correctly doing a cover letter, then you are going to take the job description from the job that you're applying for, and you are gonna especially make sure the second paragraph speaks to the things that they are looking for that job. If I'm talking about in my second paragraph, what a great communicator I am, but the job is for an IT person who never talks to anyone, they don't care, right, what a great communicator I am. They want to know how good of a programmer I am, what knowledge I have. So that second paragraph in a cover letter to someone that's hiring should speak directly to the job that you are going for. I'm going to look at that job description. I'm going to say they want this, this, this. Oh, I did this, this, this. Let me talk about those things and let them know that I have experience or I have the skills to do what they need me to do. Also in that second paragraph, you want to hit on your highlights and accomplishments. Have you won any awards, you know? Have you had any accolades? Do you volunteer? Anything that you can demonstrate that ties to that job description and that job, you want to make sure you highlight, and that's in your second paragraph. And then, of course, you want to be passionate about it and let people know that you're really interested and that you are able to do what it is they want you to do. So here's an example of a second paragraph. I am a fast learner with a background in software installation, data collection, and technical writing. I'm sorry, my little box is in my way. Not only do I easily grasp the details of data structures and algorithms, but I also apply my knowledge to real world projects. This includes using SQL to, and then this person goes on to talk about the softwares that they've worked. And then down here in the second part, the last paragraph, they're talking about exactly what they did. So your closing paragraph is just what you would think a closing paragraph would be, right? You want to summarize. You want to have a winning closing phrase. Yes. What it is you want to show and say, I want the job. That's what I say, right? This person says, I am very excited to learn more about this opportunity and share how I will be a great fit for XYZ company. They essentially are asking for the interview. They are saying to you, I want to talk to you. I want to learn more. You want to ask for what you want. When I do a cover letter for myself, I say, I would like to speak with you, right? I have more that I would like to share with you about myself. I look forward to talking to you. I hope I'm able to come in and interview. I ask for the thing that I want in my last paragraph. Also, make sure, once again, that you're including your contact information. People may not read your resume, they may not grab it. A lot of times they just look at that cover letter. So you say, I look forward to speaking with you again. You can reach me at email address, phone number, always, right? You want to have your contact information at the top. You want to once again reiterate your contact information at the bottom of your cover letter because you want to make sure you make it as easy as possible for someone to contact you when they call you for an interview. And then you end a letter the way you typically do, right? Thank you for your time. Hope to be hearing from you soon. Feel free to contact me at any time. Do a customary sincere closing to your cover letter. And then, of course, you want to say sincerely, best, thanks, and sign. So once again, here are just some examples of ways that people have closed cover letters. Being very gracious, right? In conclusion, my background and skill sets have prepared me to be a successful contributing member in this type of environment and for an organization exactly like yours. Thank you so much for your time and consideration. And then I would add my phone number at the end. Please feel free to contact me at, and you can reach me here. So here's a cover letter that has all of the things that we just talked about. You want to have your date, a current date. You want to have the contact information for the person. This is for the person that is hiring you, right? You want to have your salutation so they know who they're interviewing with, who the person is, their title. They start off conversationally. And then here in this paragraph, talking about skills that they have. And then I'm excited to contribute my strengths once again. And then down here, I hope it does not have contact information, but what's missing from down here is they should be stating their contact information again, but here it is again. And of course, different people have different circumstances, which means you need to customize your cover letter for whatever your particular circumstance is. And there are different ways to address a cover letter. So, important things to remember, 1 page long. Include the date that you are submitting your cover letter in your resume. You always want to have your resume with your cover letter. Use the same type of font and style as your resume for your cover letter. You don't want people looking at Times New Roman on your cover letter and then looking at Arial on your resume. You want to have a consistency and flow and look to your package, right? These are the best fonts to use for a cover letter and a resume also. Always have someone proofread your cover letter. Resumes too. You don't want any mistakes because once again, that cover letter is introducing you to the person that you want to hire you or to a hiring committee or a HR person, right? And make sure when you're reading the job description, you are following the directions that are in the job description. They will tell you if they want a resume, if they want a cover letter, if they want both, if they want them separate, if they want different hiring managers and committees want things different ways. So make sure you're reading those instructions and following them. And here is an example of an email message that you can attach your resume to. So a cover letter, even it doesn't have to be a letter, it can be sent in email form. Lettersmith is an organization that we work with here at Washington Community College. It was out of U of M, and we use them and they help you. They have software to help you draft a cover letter. So hopefully you're using them. And here's the directions for Lettersmith. And once again, if you need this information, I'm sure we can get it to you. And that concludes cover letters. Any questions? I don't know if anyone has any questions regarding the use of cover letters or creating a cover letter.
I'm Allison. I'm also a student at WCC. So I was curious if you had to always put your pronouns on a cover letter or if it'd be optional to put your pronouns on a cover letter.
That's totally optional. Putting pronouns on a cover letter or using pronouns is a new phenomenon. So typically people haven't been putting their pronouns on a cover letter, but yes, definitely. If that is important to you and you want someone to know that's important to you, add your pronouns.
Cool, thank you.
Any other questions? Well, once again,
Sorry, one question
sure-
for you.
Oh, we have another one?
Yes,
Okay.
please, thank you. So if an application doesn't call for a cover letter, is it better
Mhm.
to include one anyway or not include it?
It depends. So that's an interesting question. Really, that would depend on what you're applying for. I would err on the side of adding a cover letter because the most important thing a cover letter does is that it tells an employer what you want them to know, something they can't get from your resume. So I would add one unless they say resume only, or if you are filling out an application, and then they ask for you to attach a resume only. If they're not saying resume only, I would include a cover letter because I want them to know what I can do related to the job that they want me to do, if that makes sense. So I would err on the side of doing one.
Okay, great. That's really helpful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any last questions before we wrap up? All right. I think that's all the questions we have today. So can we give Cheryl a big round of applause?
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and good luck with your employment. And anytime you need us at Washtenaw, we're here in the Center for Career Success.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And thank you again for taking the time to come and speak with us today. We really appreciate it. And I hope you have a great weekend.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay, so we are going to transition to one last quick thing before lunch. So I'll hand it over to Olivia to talk about elevator pitches.
Did I do something wrong? I see. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so who here knows what an elevator pitch is? Okay, oh, yes, awesome. Lots of hands. In the back. Sorry, hold on. Kirsten's going to bring you the mic.
Okay, yep. So, more or less, the concept of an elevator pitch is, you know, you're in an elevator with someone you want to work for or, you know, be in a program with, right? It's someone that could give you an opportunity to push your goals forward, right? But so you're in the elevator with them. What can you say in that time to, you know, make them remember you and consider you for that opportunity?
Awesome. And who was that? Your face is blocked 100%.
Hi, I'm Kay.
Hi, thank you so much, Kay. Is there anything anyone wants to add to that definition of elevator pitch, which I thought was excellent? Okay, so why might we be talking about elevator pitches today, given what we have already covered in this session? Yeah, Marlena. Can you say the second half one more time?
It's used for networking and proposing different things in the workplace, and it's usually really short and concise.
Yeah, awesome, right? So this is going to be an important part of your networking pitch. When you're meeting people, when Tina is saying, you know, be really honest with people about what it is that you're looking for and how they can help. This elevator pitch, having it kind of memorized and ready to go, is going to be your number one vehicle for communicating that information.
So just like a brief summary, it's a personal 30-second kind of commercial describing who you are, what you're interested in, and what's in your background. Couple of sentences, get all of that out. And then kind of most importantly, right, making sure you also say how that person can help or what it is that you're looking for. If it's an internship, if there's a specific thing that they might have, like access to tools that you're looking for, right, that little bit at the end that's actually the ask is really important too. So you want to make sure your pitch goes in a logical order. You want to be confident in yourself without bragging too much, because you still want to leave room for how this person can help you, right? So you have to show them that you can offer them something, but there has to be room for them to offer you something in return. You want to have this practiced as much as you can, just so that it's like ready to roll off and seems natural if you ever are stuck in an elevator with someone, like Kay said, or if you're at an event where a quick communication would be helpful. And then if you were writing to someone to form an informational interview, you might give this pitch about yourself for why this person should take that interview with you and why they would want to meet with you. Has anyone here had to use an elevator pitch before? And what did you use it for, and was it helpful? Jack, I see you nodding, so I am picking on you.
So in 2019, when we were interviewing for like summer work jobs, that's when we had to use elevator pitches, because it was only like a minute long, the interviews, that is.
Awesome. Anyone else?
When I was visiting colleges, I would use an elevator pitch whenever I'd have to talk to a professor or that, when they asked, "What are you doing?" So.
Yes, that is absolutely a time when you would use them, and great to hear that they came in handy for you there, Reese. And then I think Allison has one.
I think I used one during the GatherTown internship interview, I think, for the job that I interviewed for.
That makes a lot of sense, absolutely. So I will give an example of what my pitch might be, and then y'all will tell me what might be missing from it and what I could add to it. So I might say, my name is Olivia Ordonez. I just graduated from the University of Michigan with a PhD in English and a master's in social work. I've spent a lot of my career working with young people from the university to the elementary school level, and my work has focused on responding to trauma in schools and helping historically underrepresented students navigate academic institutions. I'm really passionate about creating communities where we have mental health and wellness for everybody in the community. Yeah, so let's say I gave that pitch. What's missing? Okay.
What can be, or what you need, what you want to ask, or what you want from the other person, really.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely missing what I want. Fortunately, I have a job lined up, so I did get to cut that out of the end of this. But can someone kind of think about how I might add, or what I might be looking for, or what I might ask at the end of this? Yeah, Carlos.
You could say, maybe I'm looking for opportunities in the area that can help me further, further my goals, but like you say them in a different way or something like that.
Yeah, exactly, right? I say, and I'm looking for an opportunity to further this, and then I would kind of try to restate what my goals were. So I'm looking for an opportunity to build a health and wellness community in a school. Absolutely. Haley?
I think you put a little too much info. That is too much.
Too much.
Make it more concise and break it down to what directly relates to what you want. Although a lot of that does that, but like the big things.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're right. I should cut a little bit from it for sure. And it might be that if I'm talking to somebody who is working on responding to trauma in schools, I might leave that part in, but I might cut it. If I'm talking to somebody who doesn't work on that, absolutely, yes. Okay, wonderful. So it's your turn. Spend a couple of minutes thinking about what you would include. Ooh, Armika, yes. Yeah, I totally think that's really important, especially if you're kind of making a direct ask. You would want to be clear that you can assist them as well and make it clear at the very least that you've done your research. So saying like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to meet you. I know that you have spent your career working on developing this program for children in schools, SummerWorks. Can you tell me a little bit about your work with them? It seems related to my work on XYZ, right? So the more connections you can make, the better. And then I'm not sure if anyone has said this to you yet, but people absolutely love to talk about themselves. It is their favorite thing in the entire world. So if you have a conversation with a person where you're speaking about 10% and they're speaking about 90%, they're gonna love it and think that was a great conversation about their lives. So definitely ask questions and spend time trying to get to know them and pulling information out from them. So thank you so much, Tarmika, for pointing that out. So let's take a couple of minutes now at your tables. Spend about 4 minutes thinking about what you would include in your elevator pitch. Write it down, and then we'll go around the table in your groups, and you'll deliver your elevator pitches to each other. And we'll kind of circulate to kind of help if you need that. I'll put that one up. Does that make sense? I think so. Okay.
2 more minutes to draft your pitch. All right, so let's spend a couple of seconds. I'm going to time it, 30 seconds per person. If you're at a really small table, do you mind moving to a slightly more populous table? Mostly I am looking at table 10. I am sorry. So we'll take 30 seconds per person and we'll deliver the pitch. And then your group will use 30 seconds to tell you how you could improve your pitch. And then we'll move to the next person.
Bye, Ben.
Okay, my 30-second timer is ready to go, and I'm going to start it now. Okay, 30 seconds up. Time for feedback. If you're still giving your pitch, it is too long. Feedback. Okay, next person. Second person's going to give their pitch. Go. Feedback time. Go.
Pitch time, go. Feedback time, go. Pitch time, go. Feedback time, go. We have 2 more rounds of pitches. Second to last pitch, go.
I think a lot of them are.
Feedback time, go. Final pitch, go. And final feedback, go.
Whenever they're ready, I told them to come let me know when they were.
Okay, let's wrap up final feedback. Also think about who at your table you would nominate to present their pitch to the group after lunch. We will give a couple of elevator pitches after lunch. So it could be the person was stellar, or if you yourself want to nominate yourself because you'd like a little feedback from the group, that's good too. And I'm going to have Janae call lunch tables now. Janae, what are we having for lunch?
We are having Lucky Kitchen for lunch today. Let me see if you ready. Okay. Anyone with
Okay. So as promised, I'd love to hear from folks who you think at your table should share their pitch with us. So take a couple seconds to think about it, finish up whatever you're eating, and then let's hear some elevator pitches. I believe Kais is being nominated to my left. You're being voluntold. Are you willing? Yes. Excellent. So after we hear Kais's pitch, we'd love to get some feedback from the crowd as to what he could add, remove, improve, what's working. So let's hear it, sir.
I think I ate a little bit too much for lunch, but that's all right. Okay, so this is my elevator pitch. Hello, it's nice to meet you. My name is Kais Zalmu, and I am an incoming student at the University of Michigan Dearborn with a focus on engineering. My previous work as a leader on my high school robotics team and my technical experience and skills have enabled me to chase the dream of building a better future for all. I am very ambitious, determined, and straightforward person, and I am always learning what I can to further develop my understanding of the world.
Pretty tight. What feedback do we have for our fellow participant?
It was perfect. Great.
Yeah, Kirsten's coming with a mic.
I thought it was really good and that he checked off a lot of the things that you're supposed to do in an elevator pitch. The only thing I would say for improvement is that the ending could maybe have some kind of, if it's not something that he wants to ask for, just maybe some kind of thing he can ask in general to the person he's talking to. I don't know, I would love to know more about you or something like that.
Definitely. So based on who he's talking to, something tailored to them. If you know somebody's working on what you work on, you might say, is your team looking for a person that works on engineering or something like that? Carlos.
I would say just a little bit, try and connect, of course because of the time, but just try and connect it a little bit more from your connect your experiences a little bit more to what your goals, just a little bit. I know because of the time constraints, it's not exactly easy, so.
Awesome. Is there anybody else who wants to give feedback or a second person who will bravely volunteer to give their elevator pitch? Okay, I'm going to go to Kay for the elevator pitch. Kirsten's coming.
Okay, can I just, great. So, hi, my name is Kay Taylor. I use they, them pronouns. I am a junior at WTMC, and I plan on going into fashion design professionally. I am currently interning at a nonprofit called Mentor to Youth. My entire goal in life is to be able to help queer kids of color find a safe space and comfort through my art and designs. I know that you blank, so if it's possible, I would love to help with blank. Here's my contact information.
Living for those blanks. Feedback for Kay? It sounded like I was joking, but I was serious. Those are good blanks. That's also a great place to put your pronouns, so awesome. Anyone else? Kathleen?
It depends on how much detail you want to give, but I think for both of you, I was wondering, what kind of engineering or what kind of fashion or art? I'm just curious because those are both really broad fields, and if you don't know yet, that's totally okay. But if there is a very specific thing, that would be
Absolutely. Okay, and Allison will share her pitch.
Hi, my name is Allison Coward. I use she, her pronouns, and I am currently doing an associate in general studies at Washington Community College. I'm quite passionate about baking and cooking. My goal is to work with one day a professional baker or pastry chef in my future.
Any feedback for Allison? Carlos.
Just at the end, what the ask, right? But yeah, I like that you had your goals, what you want to do, and your experience.
One more person with feedback for Allison, please.
Maybe add any professional experience you've had in that field, so like they know you have some experience.
Great idea. Okay, so thank you for your bravery in sharing these elevator pitches. I could tell how hard y'all worked on them. If you ever want feedback on them, feel free to reach out to your success coach or any staff member. We would be happy to help. And what we're going to do now is have some time to work on your cover letter. So as you'll recall, you were asked to have a job in mind that you wanted to apply to. Pull up that job and spend the next 25 minutes or so working at your table on your cover letter. This is giving you a huge head start on a deliverable. And I have one more thing for you. We have sample cover letters from our staff that have all gotten them hired for jobs. So we'll be coming around with some samples as well that you can base your cover letter on as a model and some ideas for you to have. And we'll also be coming around just to help. So hopefully we can use this time smartly. And then you won't have to do too much work on the cover letter at home, but everyone has to have a cover letter for the deliverable. Are we good? Awesome. Okay, so go ahead and wrap up what you're working on. And as you wrap up, we're going to head to reflection. So feel free to, stop and use the restroom, get water, whatever you need. Let's be at reflection within 5 minutes from now. If you are in Tabitha's reflection group, if Tabitha's your success coach, you'll be on the 4th floor. If Kirsten is your success coach, you will be in the conference room. If Dallas and Ben are your success coaches, you're going to stay in this room. And if I am your success coach, we're going to meet by the chairs where we usually sit.